Every team, every topic, everywhere. This is Believe.
Welcome, everybody, to the Hockey Think Tank podcast, brought to you by Hockey Think Tank. You place for all passionate players, parents, and coaches to go to get a little bit of education and a little bit of inspiration regarding the greatest game on the planet. If you are not familiar yet with Hockey Think Tank, it is a place. It's a community of like-minded, passionate hockey people of over 200 people from all over the world sharing ideas, sharing perspective about the game. We also have exclusive Hockey Think Tank content like our 10 questions that we talk about at the end of every episode. We got courses on X's and O's for coaches. We got how to get to college hockey on the male and the female side and the things you need to know. So many awesome things. If you're not in Hockey Think Tank yet, go to htttu.thehockeythinktank.com and check it out. New year, we got some great discounts, some great deals going on. So go there today and check that out. But guys, we have a phenomenal episode for you here. One of my and Vex's favorite people that we've been very, very fortunate to have run across in our hockey journeys. And this is a guy named Josh Dunne. Josh Dunne is a current hockey player for the Buffalo Sabres, grew up in St. Louis, Missouri, played his junior hockey in the USHL before going on to Clarkson University. 3 years at Clarkson, goes and signs a pro contract. And now, like I said, he's playing for the Buffalo Sabres. What an unbelievable conversation this was. Vex, this is a guy that you have in your gym in the summers, one of your favorite people of all time. I recruited him when I was at Cornell, one of my favorites as well. So we got Josh Dunne coming on the podcast. But before we do get over to Dunner, let's bring on the talent of this podcast for episode 399. Episode 399. Jeff Lavecchio, Jay Who, what's up today, dude?
What's up, doggy? I'm just living here, bro. How about you?
I am living as well. I got a puck cancer game tonight, little charity game with the Ice Dogs here in Vernon Hills, Illinois. So excited to raise some money for a really good cause, and played a little last night too. So ready to go. My kids are gonna watch me play. Always love when the kids watch me play. It's gonna be fun.
How cool is that? That must be so cool,
dude. I mean, we won the Men's championship last year, and my kids got to watch me lift the trophy. All right,
let's go, dude. That must be so cool. Yeah,
it actually is cool because, like, I remember watching my dad play when I was really young, playing men's league and type stuff, and I still have like memories of that. Mm-hmm. So I have no idea if my kids are, going to do that, but it's pretty cool.
Yeah, no, dude, that's so awesome.
Pretty cool. Very cool. I had a great week this week. On Tuesday, I went up to Big Rapids, Michigan, one of the the teams that would fight against the Western Michigan Broncos back in the CCHA days, Ferris State University. So I've done some team building and culture building with them. Had an unbelievable day with that group, came back, doing a ton of different fun new stuff with the Hockey Think Tank. So 2026, man, it's going to be a great year. And we're starting it off. Josh Dunne, what a guy. This is a person. And actually the funny part about it is the way that we got Josh, we've talked about, I feel like, having him on the podcast like multiple times. I don't know why we hadn't before, but I got a text from our guy, Alex Tuck, one of the top players for the Buffalo Sabres. And I think it was a game after Dunner fought, or maybe he scored. I can't remember.
He scored.
And Tucky, he texted me. He's like, dude, you guys got to get Dunner on the podcast. Let's go. And so we were like, yeah, absolutely. So we took a couple weeks, but we got it set up, and man, what a conversation this was, dude. Every young kid listening, get a notepad out, a pen and paper, just the life lessons and the stories and the adversity that he's gone through, and just his mentality and his mindset of being a pro. Like, man, just what an episode. What a guy. What an episode.
I mean, he's just both our next two episodes here, guys, 399 and 400 are from guys who did everything they possibly could
Yeah.
to make it to the NHL. Josh Dunne and Mike Brown, who's going to be on our big episode 400 coming up here. And Toph and I know both these guys well. And it's just, I was saying to somebody earlier today, actually, like, it's real. One of my clients' dads, actually, I was having a conversation with him, and it's like, yes, you want to learn technique and the way that the best players in the NHL see the ice and the little things they do that are hockey IQ. But I think from a mindset and an effort and things like that standpoint, you can't find better human beings to learn from and look up to and take notes from than a Josh Dunne or a Mike Brown. I mean, Dunner has done everything he possibly can to make it to the NHL and to stay there, which he has this year. You know, whether it was moving away for training, whether it was, okay, I got to add fighting into my game so that I add another layer that they need to have me on the roster for, or it's like, he is I will do whatever you need me to do to add value to this team so that I can stay in the NHL kind of guy. And it's how he got to juniors. It's how he got to Division I, and it's how he signed in the NHL and is now a full-time NHLer this year with the Buffalo Sabres. And on top of that, there's a lot of good people in hockey. The whole Dunne family, which I've worked with almost all of them in some capacity or another, they're just A++ human beings. They care about people. They do things the right way. You know, I have hundreds of players in my gym every single day, and I'd honestly probably have to say that no one cares more about leaving the space better than they found it than Josh Dunne, which, you know, again, how do you make it to the NHL? You do every little thing you possibly can to be better than the guys trying to get there that you're fighting against. And it's one of those ways. How you do anything is how you do everything. And Josh Dunne exemplifies that.
Yeah, they're like kind of American hockey royalty, honestly. You know, his sister is going to be playing on the Olympic team coming up here against potentially his girlfriend for Canada, which is kind of crazy. But just a family of absolute stud hockey players. His sisters went to Ohio State, won national championships there. You know, Joy's gonna be in the Olympics coming up here. So like, and they do things the right way. You're right. And when I was coaching at Cornell, it was actually my last year at Cornell. I started the recruiting process with Josh, and so actually flew out to St. Louis from Ithaca, New York for a home visit, and got to stay with your mom and your dad in Chesterfield, because you guys were only like 20-25 minutes away from where they lived, and got the chance to meet Josh and his family, and yeah. Like, you walk in, you're just like, these people they're just good people. They're just really, really good people. And we say it all the time. Like, when you do things the right way, things tend to work out for you. And they have a lot of kids in their family and things have worked out for a lot of them. And I have to admit, we talk about it with Josh on the podcast and how his upbringing helped to shape him to be the person and to be the player that he is today. And what is it? Apple trees make apples, right? Apple doesn't fall far from the tree. And what a family. Absolutely.
How you like them apples? I got her number. You know, I mean, you look at, I think it's Jessica, Division I, Ohio State. Jinsey played in the Olympics, played tons for Team USA, Ohio State. Josie, Joy, Josh, all Division I athletes. You know, most of them have played for Team USA or pro or whatever. I mean, it's just like, when you have families that have that much success in the game, they're people that you want to listen to, because it's not, I just had one kid. It's like, I had all the kids got scholarships. All the kids have played even above the collegiate level. And like I said, they're just great people. So you guys are going to love this one. Please listen to what Josh says, because yes, although he's obviously very skilled, if you play in the NHL, I don't care if you play one shift a game, you're more skilled than 99% of people in the game. But to make it and to stick, it requires a lot more than that. And he's just a great person and a great example for young hockey players and parents to listen to. So you guys are going to love this episode. And he's one of my clients, not a big deal.
And also, like, we talk about him being talented, but also, like, let's not forget the fact that he played U18 hockey and he wasn't a heavily recruited player coming into NCAA hockey. You know, a kid from St. Louis that goes to Clarkson, it's probably because, you know, Michigan and Wisconsin and some of these schools out in the Midwest weren't recruiting you, right? And so, like he wasn't the top dog. Like, he wasn't the top player. Like he got to where he got to on, yes, some talent, but will and smarts and willingness to do things that other people aren't willing to do. And Jeff Lavecchio and, you know, all these other guys, but like, you know, his path was the long path. His path was not the I'm a stud, you know, from diapers all the way through. His path was, and we talk about it on here. There was a lot of adversity. There were some injuries. There were some tough times. And like you guys will hear it in his voice and his tone and the messages and the things that he says, like, this is how you do it. Whether you're talented or whether you're not, this is how you do it. And just really, really cool. I think this is an episode that so many kids are going to get so much from.
Yeah. I mean, he went out to, so he trained me a few years ago, and then he stayed out with his girlfriend Ella out on the East Coast, who's a phenomenal player. Will be on Team Canada. I think she was the second overall pick in the women's pro league draft a few years ago. Absolute sweetheart too. But he stayed on the East Coast working with one of the biggest names in hockey training. And he called me at the end of the year and was like, hey, I want to come home. I want to work with you again. Like I want to get after it. And we had goals. He said, I need to do these things. I'll do whatever you say, whatever we got to do so that I'm going into camp and I make the team. And when I say he would do whatever, he did whatever. Everybody else had 2 to 3 days off a week in the summer. Not Josh Dunne. Wasn't taking them, coming in for extra work, working on boxing, working on hitting the mitts, working on fighting training, because he said, I need to add this layer to my game because I will not be denied. I will do whatever it takes. And there's a lot of players and people in the world who say, I'll do whatever it takes to make it. But not very many people actually follow through with doing whatever it takes. And this past summer, Josh Dunne did every single possible thing, his confidence and things like that going into training camp. I just couldn't be more proud of the guy. And again, you know, just a great person. So
great dude.
And his sister is the captain of women's Division I. Lindenwood was one of my interns this summer. So just a cool family thing, and couldn't be happier for his and his family's success. You guys are going to love this episode.
Yeah, such a fun episode. So let's get over there. Before we do have some people to thank for supporting our podcast. First off, our title sponsor, icehockeysystems.com, the best website out there for all your coaching education needs. They got thousands of drills, whiteboard explanations from high-level NHL coaches, ability to go in, draw your drills up, and create a library for yourself or your organization, because we have partnered with them to do an associations platform where you can get this for every single coach in your organization. But they are not just for coaches anymore. They are also for families. They have IHS Family, and there's so much great content on their site for parents, how to help to your son or your daughter navigate the youth hockey journey, and just some great hockey clips to learn the game a little bit more as well. And then for the kids, a lot of great things like similar stuff that you'll hear on this podcast with Josh Dunne on how to maximize your abilities and how to get better and develop your talents in the game. So go to icehockeysystems.com today and check that out, Jeffrey.
Want to give a massive thank you to Train Heroic. You guys know Train Heroic is the unbelievable platform that allows me to have videos of me coaching and demonstrating every single thing I have my athletes do in the gym. Whether it's hand-eye coordination, warm-ups, cool-downs, biking, sprinting, jumping, lifting. There's a video of me doing everything to make sure that you're getting the most out of your training at the cheapest possible price out there. Last year, we had the biggest off-season in the history of my company online. Looking to do that again by dropping some new programs for at-home youth players of things you can do with equipment around the house. So just really, really excited to continue to help the hockey world at a really, really low price, because that's always a goal with mine, with all my online training. So thank you to Train Heroic for allowing me to do that.
Awesome. Thank you to Helios Hockey as well. Helios Hockey, one of the best hockey products out there on the market. It is a sensor that you put into your shoulder pad that gives you real-time data, real-time feedback on your play, specifically a hustle score, which we had JP Buckley of Helios Hockey on for a Friday Face-Off a couple weeks ago. He talks about how incredible that is. You know, when you move, that thing lights up, and it can tell you how hard you're working and the pace of which you're playing while you're out on the ice. And also a lot of great skating development tools. In today's game, you got to be able to skate, and just a phenomenal product to help you learn how to do that a little bit better. But the kicker for us, guys, is this is a product that syncs up with your video, whether it's a camera, Live Barn, iPhone, iPad, whatever you're filming your game or your practice with, you will get your reps from practice or your shifts from your game cut up for you directly after whatever event that was. Think about that. This is worth it just for that, on top of all the amazing data that it gives you. Just, when we were back in the day and we wanted to do video, it was like zzz, fast forward, zzz, rewind on the VHS tapes. Took us about 5 hours to just, clip our clips out. Now you can do it directly after practice. So go to helioshockey.com today, guys. And if you use the coupon code ThinkTank, one word, you will get a discount of 20% off your pro annual or pro 24-month subscription. So go to helioshockey.com today. Also want to thank Crossbar. This is the one-stop shop end-to-end software solution to help you run your youth hockey organization way more efficiently, guys. I know so many hockey directors and youth hockey presidents out there that have made the switch from some of the bigger box type stuff to Crossbar to run their youth hockey operations. And they are so incredibly happy that they did, because they have such amazingly easy to use features for anybody, whether it's on the back end or anybody using the website. It's got a 5-star communication app so you can communicate with your families. An amazing scheduler, really, really easy to use for entire seasons or even little things like drop-ins and clinics and things like that. There's tools for financial management. There's tools for volunteer management. There's tools for rink management. It's literally a one-stop shop to help you to operate your youth hockey club way, way, way better. So go to crossbar.org today and check that one out as well. Episode 399, guys. We would not still be here doing this today if it wasn't for you and all the support that you give us. We appreciate any time that you reach out to us with questions or DMs, emails, things like that, anything that you guys have. We love to answer the questions that you have on our podcast, specifically on our short 10-minute episodes on Wednesdays and Fridays as well. But anytime you can, it would really help us if you interacted with our podcast on your podcast app. We're everywhere: Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, all that kind of stuff. So if you can shoot us a comment, download us, shoot us a rating, follow us, subscribe, all that kind of stuff just goes a long way for helping us to grow our audience and helping us to make a more positive impact on the hockey world. So we appreciate you guys. Episode 399 in. This was one of Vex and I's favorites that we've done. It's going to be an unbelievable podcast episode for all the young kids out there with the dream of playing in the NHL. So without further ado, here we go with current Buffalo Sabre, Josh Dunne. We are so excited to have on this episode of the podcast from beautiful Buffalo, New York on Lake Erie. We got Josh Dunne of the Buffalo Sabres. Josh, how are we doing today, man?
I'm great. Thank you so much for having me on. I'm excited.
Oh, yeah, we're excited to have you. And both Vex and I have had relationships with you, I tried to recruit you back in the day, back when I was at Cornell, and you're still working with Vex here in the summers, sculpting that body into, what do you call it, male model type stuff, Vex, or what?
Dunner is probably the A1 top male model in the gym now, so I got to give it to him, especially with that beard he's got going on now. Yep. Looks like a savage, and I love it.
That's awesome, man. Well, we're so excited to have you. And just to introduce you to our listeners, one of the questions we always ask at the beginning is just how you fell in love with the game. And you have a lot of people in your family who are very much in love with the game of hockey. So if you can, just tell us about how you fell in love with it and how it's become such a family pastime for the Dunne family.
Yeah, so weirdly enough, actually, my parents never played hockey. So I got into it a little differently. My parents wanted to give me like opportunities to try different sports, and I was just like a kid, probably like 5 or 6 years old. And I always remember watching like there'd be like Blues games on, and I would be playing with like a sock, pretending I was the goalie, or just messing around, like pretending I was a player as well. And so my parents were like, "Oh, let's give it a shot. Let's have some fun out there." So I was actually the first one to do it. I had two older sisters. They hadn't played at the time, so I started playing like floor hockey and inline hockey in Missouri, and I started falling in love with it. I just loved how competitive it was. I think it's the most competitive physically game there is, and so for me, like, I'm a competitive person, and I think that just I really was able just to enjoy it and kind of get lost in the moment there. And then my sisters saw me doing that, and they're like, "Hey, can we try that too?" My parents were like, "Yep," and then it was easy for them to bring us all to the same rink. They dropped us off there. We'd be there from like the morning till night playing hockey. We all fell in love with it in our own way. And Then with 3 younger siblings come along later, they started to join. And like I said, it was easy for my parents just to drop us off at the rink. And we would just be there all day playing hockey. We had a great time. We all are super competitive. So I think that part helped us all. And then we just met so many friends and amazing people along the way. And we all just fell in love with it. And that's just kind of how it happened for us.
That's amazing, man. So cool. And I remember doing a home visit to the Dunne household way back in the day. And just getting the opportunity to meet your family, meet your parents, meet your sisters, brother, everybody. Like it was a really, really cool experience. And I wanted to ask you that. And, your sisters, like, I mean, when we talk about a hockey family, like this is like insane. I mean, you're talking the top of, you're playing in the NHL. You got sisters who are at the top of women's hockey. What was childhood like with you and everybody? Like, were you guys pretty competitive with each other? Were you fighting for food at the dinner table with how many kids you had at the dinner table and everything like that? Like, talk a little bit about just what that upbringing was like.
Yeah, we always joke we could never finish a board game because it would end in a fist fight like halfway through the game. Like it'd be any game and it would be like people would be going after other people. And like our parents were competitive too as well. So they would want that competitiveness. And so they'd be competitive in the game too. And so all of us were. So it was just like, I think that's just kind of where a lot of this stems from. We were so competitive. But yeah, we all, like every sport we played, that's kind of how we were. And that's like our parents pushed us to work really hard and do the best that we can do. And then as we got older, we were able to kind of help each other within the sport and with the relationships and things. And for us, it was just, it was funny. It was so busy that our parents had to like drop us off at like friends' places to like just stay, like, hey, stay the night, take them on the tournament. But then our parents, I mean, they sacrificed so much for us to be able to do this. Obviously, like Vexy knows in St. Louis, like there's not a lot of AAA teams close. At least when I played, it was just junior blues. And I played obviously youth with like St. Peter's, but we had to drive 5 hours almost every weekend to play. So it was, they sacrificed so much for us. And like I said, I make the joke, but it was easiest for them to play roller hockey, just drop us all off at the rink all day. And we'd be there from like 7 a.m. to like 10 p.m. And then we do it again the next day. So we loved it and we had a great time with it all.
Tell if you want to talk about competitive and hilarious. Went to one of Josh's sister's weddings this summer, Josie, who actually interned with me all summer. She's the captain of Lindenwood women's Division I program. And the speeches at this wedding were the most electric, most intense, chirping. I thought I was at a roast of the bride. I was like, is Josie going to come off the top rope right now and just clothesline everyone in this family? But it was all love. It was unbelievable. And you could tell like the love, but also the competition between, we got college chants going on in the crowd, the girls giving the, Jinsey and Jessica giving the speech. It was unbelievable. It was amazing.
That's unreal.
Yeah.
Well, I want to talk about your parents a little bit, and we'll get into your journey too, but this has something to do with it. But like with the amount of kids that were in the household and a lot of them loving hockey and playing at a high level, like one of the things that Vex and I talk about a lot is everybody's got a different path. Everybody's got a different path. Your path was a little bit more the long way, right? Played 16U hockey, then 18U hockey, then multiple years at junior, and then going to Clarkson. And then like, it was just a little bit. And then you have a couple sisters or you have a couple that were kind of your path. And then you have a couple where it was like, they were going to play in the national team. You kind of knew it. Like they were just prodigies. Right. So like, I'm wondering, sitting back now playing in the NHL and you've have other family members that have done really well in the game, but everybody kind of had a different way to get there. How did your parents manage that, like individually with all of you? As some of you were hitting adversity, some of you didn't have as much adversity. Some of you had to work a little bit harder to get to where you got to, didn't have maybe the natural ability. What were your parents like? Was it similar with all of you guys? Was it different in how they, I don't want to say parented you, but supported you along the journey? I'm really interested to hear how that was.
Yeah, I think that's a great point because all of our paths were very different. Like there were some hard times at young ages for some, and some didn't get it till later. And I think for our parents, it was just like they wanted us to like work really hard and kind of like be the best we could be at that moment. And so it wasn't necessarily about being on the top team or being the best player. It was just about working like really, really hard. And like I think that's the competing part. And so for us, like, it wasn't like, oh, like, she's here, like, you got to do what she's doing to get there. Like, they would push us all. So we all would like have the same kind of summer not training, but like the summer, like they put us on the same summer schedule, or they put us on the same thing where it's like, we'd all be accepted. We'd all play roller hockey. We'd all play different levels, but they always wanted to challenge us. So I think they did a good job with that, to where like, I remember I'd play like 4 years up sometimes in like roller hockey, and I'd be losing all the time. And like, but it was just about like learning to continue to work hard and compete. And like, I remember like there'd be times I would, our team would get crushed, but it was like, you got to keep working, you got to keep pushing. And I mean, I used to be a goalie actually. So like when I was a goalie, my parents would push me to be a really good goalie, and they always wanted us to push ourselves and continue to work. And so like, they would sign us up sometimes for like 6 a.m. skates before practice. Like, and we would go out there and we would skate, but it was like, it didn't matter what level you were. It's like, you got to go out there and you got to work hard. And I think that effort, that work ethic and the competitiveness kind of like instilled in all of us. And I think that's what like our journey, like what like the biggest things that stand out for us, what really helped us was like, we did that every day. And then every time we did anything, it was like, you step in a game, you're going to work hard. You're not going to just like participate. You're going to do it really good. You're going to do it really good. And it just kind of had that mentality. And so they did a good job, like being there for all of us in our journeys. And, like I said, there was times when someone would be playing AA and they'd make the AA game and then go to the AAA game and then travel on the road. And it was never like, oh, we're just going to stick with the best right now, the best kid, and keep going with the best kid. And the rest of you guys kind of fall to the side. It's like, they did a great job of supporting us all and being there for us all and continuing to push us all and try to give us every opportunity that we needed to succeed. So I was very thankful, because obviously like most hockey players say, but like, I wouldn't be here if it weren't for them. Like, I could have easily gotten lost in the mix, because I developed a little bit later, or they could have said no, or they could have kind of taken away things from me. So I was very thankful for the sacrifices they made.
Is there anything that they said to you or your siblings growing up that like they said all the time to you that like got it into your head to make, I'm always going to be the hardest worker on the ice, the most dialed, like to make that stick? Because obviously, we have so many young hockey players and so many parents that listen to our show. And I say all the time, I've got it in a cool neon sign to my left here, my sick basement gym. What's up? If you train with me online, you know what I'm talking about. My dad, only advice he ever gave me was hard work, patience, more hard work. He said that when I was a kid. He said that when I was in juniors, when I was in college, when I was in pro. Good game, bad, that didn't matter. It was just get back to hard work, patience, more hard work. And so like, he never talked about like points ever. Like maybe, hey, yeah, great goal, Jeff. That was awesome. Did you work hard? So is there anything that your parents or your brothers and sisters, like, is there any like moments or sayings or anything that helped you kind of become that type of player, which has allowed you to be a leader at every level?
Yeah, the two things that stick out are toughness, for sure. Like, toughness was a big one. And so like, I remember when I was like 10 years old, I played with a term with broken fingers. And it was like, no, like you're tough. You got to be tough. And I think that part has helped so much, because like, that's like where work ethic is as well. Is like, there's a line where like, it's so hard to work, you have to be tough. And so we were always taught to be very tough. I mean, my sister played with a broken hip in soccer one day. Like, she had a legit broken hip, and it's like, she played through it. And it was like, it's that toughness that they always instilled on us. It's like, no, get up, do it again, be tough. Like, you got to be tough. And like, I think that part was like huge for us, because like I said, it helped my work ethic, because it was like, no, you got to be tougher, and you got to keep, oh, sorry, I didn't mean to do that thing. But I think that one was big. And then it's the other one was like, I'm kind of paraphrasing the quote, but it's like, how you do everything, or so how you do anything is how you do everything. Like, they didn't say it like that, but that's kind of the mindset we had. So it's like, when you're at a restaurant, you clean up your area around you, respect the waitress and waiter. Like, you do, how you do anything is how you do everything. I know you said that to us back this summer, but that was kind of the mindset that it was for everything. It was like, no, you don't take that off because it's easy. Like, you do it as 100% as you can, even though it's a small thing, because that's what matters. And then you start to do those things over and over, and it's like a mental callus, where it's like, every time you have an opportunity to be tough, you're tough because you did it before. Every time you have an opportunity to do a mundane task, it's like you've done it before. So I think for us, those are the things that, like, you could ask any of my siblings, like, that's kind of instilled in us, where it's like, we try not to like push things to the side in that way, where it's like, hey, we got to deal with this or hey, this is tough, but we got to do it, or hey, we're not just going to look past it, you know? So I think those things for me, at least, really helped me and have always stuck with me since I was a kid.
Man, I mean, and I'll say this, like, it's a muscle that you constantly have to work. Parents, if you're listening to this, coaches, you're listening to this, players, you're listening to this, you've got to do those things every day over and over and over and over, even at his level, NHL, over and over and over, or else you're not there. College, over and over and over, or else you don't get to the next level. I mean, I can say without a doubt, you know, I retired after the 17-18 season. So I think I'm going on 8 years now without playing. And I would still consider myself way more dialed than the general population and how I live my life. But I know there's no doubt in my mind I'm not as dialed as when I played. And partly it's because I don't like put that same intention into every single thing I do, because I'm a dad now and I've got to get home to take care of my child and things like that. And I can feel like that little bit of difference, you know, and every time I get away from it, I remind myself, how would I have done things when I was a player? And then I get myself back into it. The reason I'm saying that is, like he said, it's a callus to muscle. It's something that you've got to use over and over and over. And it doesn't matter what the task is. The task is clean up the gym when you're finished. Well, clean it up like the gym looked like when you came in. You know, coach says top of the circle, bottom of the circle. Don't be a cheater. Go over the top of the circle, under the bottom. Don't cut through the circle, because details matter. How you do things matter, and how you do anything is how you do everything. And I'm not just, you know, giving you a tug here, like literally, Toph. I've got 140, 150 players in my gym every single day in the off season. Dunner is number one with however the gym looks when he comes in. It looks better when he leaves. And that's why he is where he is, because that's how he lives his life. And to the kids listening, you want to maximize your abilities. That's what you need to do. Nutrition, working out, your studies in school, you know, like details in practice, paying attention to detail and doing it to the best of your abilities every single time is really, really how you level up consistently over time.
100%, man. 100%. And it's one of the things I talk about when I speak to kids is that, like, this toughness that we talk about, and I'll put resilience in there, because I think that's a very close, you know, sibling to that. It is a muscle. It is a muscle. And it gets better or it gets worse based upon the effort and intention that you put into it. And so, like, physically, when you're working out, you're throwing up, you know, 800 pounds like Vex does in the gym because he's huge and he's jacked and, you know,
single arm curls.
Yeah, exactly. Right. When you are working out, what are you doing to your body? You're breaking it down. It's actually making you weaker. Like when you are in the physical act of working out. And then how do you end up getting stronger? It's by how you take care of your body afterwards. It's how you rest, how you recuperate, what you put in your body, food wise, water, all that kind of stuff, the sleep that you get. Like, that's how you actually end up getting stronger. And toughness and resilience is the same way, just mentally. Because think about, like, the tough times that you've been through, equate that to being in the gym and throwing up weights. Like, it's trying to break you down. It's trying to break you down. It's trying to break you down. And how do you get mentally tougher? By the way you choose to see the tough stuff. And if you choose to see it as a challenge, if you choose to see it as an opportunity to learn something, opportunity to grow, I'm going to be better because of this, then you're going to build that resilience muscle. And then as the adversity gets bigger and bigger and bigger, the older you get and the higher the levels that you get, like at your level, right, Dunner? Like, we're talking about millions of dollars on the line here for a lot of guys and their contracts and feeding their, like, that's real adversity. But if you get the adversity in, I was listening to a podcast, like, I don't know, months ago, and they talked about get your rejection in, like, actually seek it out, seek out the hard, seek out the rejection. So you're like getting you're seeking out adversity. So you can build that resilience muscle and on your journey, man, like in how long it's taken you to get to where you are, and just the ups and the downs, that stuff matters. Like the stuff that you're talking about, and in fact, you're talking about that those little details of how you do anything, like, that really matters when it comes to the development of those life skills that you need to succeed at the higher levels and get to the higher levels. So
nobody does selling better than Shopify. Shopify is the home of the #1 checkout on the planet. And the not so secret, with Shop Pay that boosts conversions up to 50%, meaning way less carts go abandoned and way more sales going through. So if you're into growing your business, your commerce platform better be ready to sell wherever your customers are scrolling or strolling. On the web, in your store, in their feed, and everywhere in between. Businesses that sell more, sell on Shopify. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout that Skims uses. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period for 3 months at shopify.com/Westwood1, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/Westwood1 to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/Westwood1.
The secret is out. With millions of younger-looking customers across the country, Plexiderm is one of the most highly sought-after products on the market. It visibly shrinks under-eye bags and smooths out crow's feet in minutes, and the effects last up to 10 hours. Influencers love it, magazines feature it, and people just can't get enough of it. As a matter of fact, Elle Magazine gave it an Editor's Choice Award as Best Instant Wrinkle Filler for 2025. In as little as 10 minutes, Plexiderm reduces the appearance of fine lines, wrinkles, and those dreaded under-eye bags. So yes, you can look years younger in minutes, and the effects last for hours. No surgery, no gimmicks, just results. The best news, you can try Plexiderm for only $14.95. Plus, get free shipping. Don't wait. Order Plexiderm today. Visit plexiderm.com/special. That's plexiderm.com/special. Paid for by Sheer Science.
Most people don't realize how much of their personal information is being bought and sold every day. Data brokers are making billions pulling details about you from public records and the internet, then packaging and selling it, usually without your consent. That's how your information lands in the hands of scammers, spammers, even stalkers. It's why you get endless robocalls and why ads seem to follow you everywhere. That's where Aura comes in. Aura actively removes your data from broker sites and keeps it off. They also instantly alert you if your information shows up in a breach or on the dark web. But Aura goes beyond data protection. With one app, you get a VPN, antivirus, password manager, spam call protection, dark web monitoring, and even up to $5 million in identity theft insurance, all backed by 24/7 US-based fraud support. Other companies might just sell credit monitoring or just a VPN. Aura gives you all of it together at the same price competitors charge for just one service. Start your free trial today at aura.com/secure. Protect yourself now at aura.com/secure.
Let's ask him this, because I love this question. If you look back on your career, Dunner, is there any negative, down problem in your career, injury, got cut, anything that you can look back and you're like, that really helped me?
Yeah, there's a couple, but I think the biggest one for me was when I went to juniors. I got a really bad concussion my first year, and then kind of when I came back, I was really like in and out of the lineup. Like I was scratched most of the time. I played 21 games in like the 60-game season that year, and I think I was like scratched probably for half of them, hurt for the other 20. And so that one for me was really big because like I've had like adversity with like injuries, or there's been things like where maybe it hasn't gone well, but that was big because like this was something I wanted, and I got to this level and I'm like, oh my gosh, like everybody's so good here. How am I supposed to get in the lineup? And then I was out, and I actually had a really good like eye-opening experience because we had a couple guys kind of in the same boat who were scratched, and I had another guy who like worked really, really, really hard every day, didn't complain, like just kept pushing, had a great attitude. And I had another guy who was kind of like, oh, like, what are they doing to me? Why me? Like, this is ridiculous, like kind of putting on somewhere else. And it was great to see that because like I saw like I had the choice between the two. And ironically, the guy who kind of worked through that, he's in the American League right now. He's been called up a little bit and down, but like same thing. He was like, I was able to see at that age where it's like, it was great to have that adversity and be like, how bad do you want it? How bad are you willing to work? And how are you going to respond to this adversity? And so I think for me, that was amazing because that was a big moment in my career to help like push me and help me understand like all the little things and being a good teammate and just continuing to work and seeing that like development truly is not like a linear thing for people, and people develop at different times. So I think that part was awesome for me.
Do you know where the other guy's at? Is he still playing?
Yeah, he's still playing. I don't want to bring up names.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, man. I've said on the podcast a billion times, the two best things that happened to me in my career were getting cut when I was like 10 or 11 or 12, and then tearing my groin off the bone in juniors. Those two things made me realize how bad I wanted to be a hockey player, and then I had to find a way to get better around the adversity if I wanted to keep going. So anybody out there who's going through a tough time, you got an NHL player right now telling you he went through tough times in his career. He's been through way more tough times than that to get to where he is. You know, I signed 2 NHL deals, captain of a D1 school. What's up? If you're on YouTube, you can see my jersey here. And I went through, you know, the ringer through adversity. And I know Toph did as well. And he's talked about on the podcast at length too. So if you're going through it, reach out to mentors. Find people who can help you through those tough times, help you reframe your mindset, and know that at the end of the tunnel there, you're going to be better off from those hard times.
100%. And I'll say a little something to all the parents that are listening right now too. Like, your conversations with your kids during their time of adversity are extremely important. So incredibly important. If you make excuses and you enable and you point fingers and blame other people for the misgivings or whatever happens to your kids, all you're going to do is create a kid that's an excuse maker and points the finger to other people. And those people do not get to the levels that Dunne are at, not even close. And I've seen it. I've seen it. And as a college recruiter, right, we meet a lot of people and a lot of families, and there are ones that are excuse makers, and we're going to focus everything on, you know, why my kid's the victim. And then there are other ones who are like, you know, it's like, this will make them better. Like, figure it out, work harder, get better. And it's, I think that's a huge thing too. And going with that, Dunne, like, you know, your journey, you just having watched you play when you were younger, you know, 15, 16, 17, all the way up through, you know, you played 18U hockey at a time when everybody was like 18U. If you play 18U hockey, like, you're done, you know. And then
Thank you, Josh Dunne.
And then you go to the USHL, you have that really bad injury your first year, and you end up playing 3 years in the USHL before going off to Clarkson. And then you play 3 years at Clarkson, but that wasn't, you know, the easiest start for you. And like, there was like so many ups and downs, but like you took the long path to where you had grinded out in the AHL before getting your first shot in the NHL. So like, what, looking back now and where you're at, like, what are some of the biggest takeaways, reflection points that you have looking back in your journey, understanding that you were not drafted? And for everybody out there that knows, we did this study of American-born hockey players and getting to all the American-born hockey players that played in the NHL a couple of years ago. And we did it by draft round 2. And so the most amount of players in the NHL that year came from the first round. But the second most amount of NHL players after that was undrafted. Not the second round, it was undrafted. So like, looking back on your journey, going the long way, playing 18U hockey, playing 3 years at junior, playing 3 years at college, like slugging it out in the AHL, how has that helped you to be the best version of you as a player, as a person? For all the kids out there who may not be having the success that they want at 16, at 17, and knowing that they're going to have to take a similar path.
Yeah. I mean, I think a big one for me is like seeing development. It's like, it's just not linear for people. And I remember like a coach said this to me one time, but it's almost like when you guys are like both 12, like someone's here and someone's here. But if you get 2% better or 5% better each year and they're only getting 1%, then you slowly start to like close the gap. So it's like, it's one of those things where it's like, you can't look at somebody else and be like, oh, well, they're this much better. Like, well, I'll never catch them. But it's like you can catch them in like your own way. And it's almost like you just have to keep, I know we kind of said it, but you have to keep working and you have to keep working. And hockey's such a dynamic game where there's so many reads and so many plays and so many things going on that you can continue to get better, like better each and every year. Like, there's so many players. I don't think you have to hit your prime till like your mid to late 30s. Your body might give, but it's like you can still grow mentally and like the plays. And you watch some of these players play who can't even skate, and you're like, this guy's incredible. Like, he doesn't skate out there, but he's an incredible player. So it's like you can always continue to grow and learn. And I think I've had that mindset to where you just don't stop growing. You don't stop trying to get better. You each day you have an opportunity to learn, and I'm fortunate right now to be in a spot where I can learn from some great players. But even then, growing up, I was learning from people all the time. I was learning from what went well, what didn't go well, what guys were doing, like picking up things along the way, and just continuing to like kind of in a way like keep your head down and work hard. And I think the other one is just like it's confidence, which is a very fine line between confidence and arrogance. And I think I had to like find that line throughout my career, where a lot of times I put myself down as a player, but I realized you have to like believe in what you can do and work on your strengths and try to be the best at something, you know. And I remember a coach said, like, if you can be the best at something, someone's always going to want you because you're unique and you want to continue to be unique. But I think that's where confidence is becoming who you are and continuing to like build on who you are and what your foundation is and grow your foundation. So for me, that really helped me is like finding who I am as a game, like finding my game and understanding what I do really well, what I don't do well, continuing to work on what I don't do well, but always understanding that what I do well is who I am as a player and what I can continue to be, and same as a person. So kind of leaning into that has helped me a lot recently, but I just want to continue to grow. And I still think like I can continue to get better, even though I am like where I want to be. I want to continue to grow. So I think those two things kind of stick out for me most. But yeah, it's a journey and there's so much learning along the way. So you have to be open-minded to it. And I think you made a great point, Toph, where it's like in the hard times, you can kind of blame somebody else, or you can be like, well, how can I help? Or what am I not doing? And so I think for me, that's helped me a lot in my career when those things have happened. I've had moments to be like, well, how can I, like, this is the situation. How can I improve from this situation? Or this is what it's going to be. How can I get better? Or like, this is the reality. And just like learning from where you are and continue to grow from where you are and understanding that you don't have to put any limitations on yourself. You can continue to grow.
What about the other part of that too, which is something I know that you've done, and that's find a way to make an impact no matter what that means. And for you, one of those ways this year has been fighting on your team in the NHL, and that has added another layer to your game, which Buffalo's absolutely loving. You know, I was out to dinner with the two strength coaches and sports science staff with Buffalo when you guys were here in St. Louis last week, and you know, they're talking about how you'll fight anybody and gets the team going. The boys love it, everything, and that's maybe something that I don't know how many times you fought in juniors, but I know it wasn't like a ton. Right. And through our talks this summer, you're like, I've got to do this. If I want to make the team, I've got to add something else where I can add value.
Let me add on top of that, Vex, because this is something we talk about with young players all the time, is that like every level that you go up, you're probably going to have to play a different role. You know, the reason a lot of times you're getting to that next level is because you might be a top line player, and then you're not the top line player when you get to that next level. So you have to figure out how to succeed in a different role. And then by succeeding in that role, you get a little bit more trust, a little bit more rope from that coach, and then you can potentially move up the lineup and things like that. And so the fact that you had to do that at different levels has probably helped you, Dunner, to understand how important that is in playing a role, particularly when you get to the NHL. So I know you had a question there, Vex, but I wanted to add to that because like, I think that is something we talk about all the time with young players. They go up a level and then they get so discouraged that they're not, you know, on the power play again, or, you know, they're playing in a different role or on a different line and that they're not used to. And then they just kind of sulk and they lose a year because they're just miserable, as opposed to like becoming a more versatile player, learning how to play a different role, which will help you, you know, as you get older. So Vex, I know you had a question in there. Sorry to.
Well, I can actually kind of connect it too. I think you're absolutely right, Topher. It's a great point because each level you go up, everyone's really good, and the margin is so small that like it almost goes back to like the habits and details. Like those need to be like the things that everyone can do, like stopping on pucks, like staying on the defensive side, like a lot of the checking things, like you have to learn how to do that. And you're right. Like you get to these levels. I see so many players that played with it, like who are elite offensive players that haven't been able to figure that out. Maybe the defensive side or doing some things you don't want to do because it's hard to block shots. It's hard to back check. It's hard to kind of grind on pucks. It's hard to take hits to make plays. And I think that's the thing is like, if you're not willing to do those things, it's like, then you're kind of hurting yourself in a way, you know? So for me, and with the fighting regard, where it was like, hey, look, I'm a big guy. Like maybe it's something, it's a little scary to do. And I think that's kind of where like that mental toughness has come in, where it's like, hey, this hasn't gone well in juniors. Like, but you know what? I can work on it. I can get better at it. It's something scary. I can do it, and I need to push myself to do it. And it's like, you're almost like you're checking these boxes to get better at these things. Cause like, again, the margin is so small, players are so good, but it's good to learn how to play different roles, because you see the best players in the world, they do everything the right way. Like someone like Barkov and Reinhart, like, and those guys on Florida, you watch them play, but they're doing all the right things. And like that helps the team win. And so it's good to learn those things. And I was lucky enough to be in some of those situations where like I had no choice but to learn. Whereas like, hey, you're either in the lineup, out of the lineup. The difference is you have to do these things. And so it's like you learn what it takes and what winning is. And I think that's really good. And it is difficult, but I think that's what we've talked about, where it's like you have to kind of check your ego a little bit and be like, okay, if this is what it is, this is what I have to do, and this is what I have to learn, rather than being like, well, it's this guy's fault. Like, let me just go to a different team and then it'll all be figured out, because it might solve the problem then, but it's never going to solve the long-term problem unless you're willing to put in the work.
That's awesome, man.
Nobody does selling better than Shopify. Shopify is the home of the #1 checkout on the planet. And the not-so-secret secret, with Shop Pay that boosts conversions up to 50%, meaning way less carts go abandoned and way more sales going through. So if you're into growing your business, your commerce platform better be ready to sell wherever your customers are scrolling or strolling. On the web, in your store, in their feed, and everywhere in between. Businesses that sell more, sell on Shopify. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout that Skims uses. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period for 3 months at shopify.com/Westwood1, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/Westwood1 to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/Westwood1.
The secret is out. With millions of younger-looking customers across the country, Plexiderm is one of the most highly sought-after products on the market. It visibly shrinks under eye bags and smooths out crow's feet in minutes, and the effects last up to 10 hours. Influencers love it, magazines feature it, and people just can't get enough of it. As a matter of fact, Elle Magazine gave it an Editor's Choice Award as Best Instant Wrinkle Filler for 2025. In as little as 10 minutes, Plexiderm reduces the appearance of fine lines, wrinkles, and those dreaded under-eye bags. So yes, you can look years younger in minutes, and the effects last for hours. No surgery, no gimmicks, just results. The best news, you can try Plexiderm for only $14.95. Plus, get free shipping. Don't wait. Order Plexiderm today. Visit plexiderm.com/special. That's plexiderm.com/special. Paid for by Sheer Science.
Well, let me ask you this, because we like to ask players who are in the NHL, particularly younger players who are in the NHL, when they got up there, what's like the biggest thing you've learned? And more from a standpoint of like, hey, I'm watching this dude and like, I'm just wow. And not necessarily the skill part of it, but just the approach to the game, the professionalism, the work ethic, things like that. You started off your career in Columbus and you're in Buffalo right now. And by the way, total heater, Buffalo Sabres, hottest team in the league right now. Unbelievable at the time of this recording. We'll keep it going. But like, is there any player or two that you really kind of were like, I really want to learn from this person based on what I see them do every single day to make them the best professional hockey player that they can be?
Wow. So I didn't have a ton of time in Columbus, but I think the couple things I learned like when I was up there was how much everybody loves hockey. Like you have to love hockey to get to this level, because you have to work so hard, and the only way you're going to work that hard is if you love it. And it's like these guys, nobody makes them stay on an hour late. They're choosing to stay on an hour late. They're going out there on an off day to work on their game or watch video, or they're going out of their way to like learn a new craft or task. And it's like, these guys love it so much. And I know a lot of times you always see like just the pure finesse and the pure skill, but some of these guys are working on like little details that make the biggest difference. And they're like honing in on their craft because they love it. And I think that part like stood out for me. It was like, wow, like I know guys who loved hockey, but like these guys, they love hockey. Like and I think that's what's gotten them to this level is like, they keep working because they have such a passion for the game. And then, I think like players that for me like have really stood out that I've always looked up to and watched are like someone like Boone Jenner, who just constantly works, but like the little plays and the details that he makes are so impressive. And that was when in Columbus, and then Buffalo. Like, it's been so fun to watch a lot of these players on our team, because like a guy like Rasmus Dahlin is just every little thing he's incredible at, and like he doesn't get enough credit for the little things that he does. But like you watch him, and you're trying to pick up things, or like Tage Thompson, though, his knack for scoring, and some of these guys are so good at some of these little niche things that you have to like watch, and it's so hard to break down. And like there's a reason like some of these guys are as successful as they are. It's not just because they can toe drag a guy. It's because like they can make the smallest little play that nobody else can nobody else can make. But it's like you can learn from that play. Like, sure, I'm never going to be able to make the plays that some of these guys can, but I can learn and I can pick up things from these guys because of how good they are and how hard they work. And it kind of like a couple times it's challenged me to be like, well, how hard am I working? You know, like just look up what this guy's doing right now. Like, sure, like he's working hard in a different way, but like, why am I not doing that? You know? And then like, again, you have to continue to like check yourself and be like, well, am I doing the right things? Or like, what am I doing? Like, why is it working for him and not for me? And then you kind of continue to pick it up. And then these guys have been great too by like teaching me things. And if I ask questions, they've been awesome, because like they develop it too. So that's why you see so many former players become coaches. It's like they just have such a passion for the game that it's fun to learn each day.
So cool, man. I love how you said the love for the game too. It's something that we talk about. Like for me, and again, and in fact, I'm wondering what you would say to this too. But when I talk to kids, I tell them there's two consistencies with all the players that I've either played with or coached that have reached the NHL level. Number one is they absolutely love hockey. They have a unwavering passion for the game. They love the game. And the second one is ownership and accountability. They take ownership and accountability for everything that they do. They're not the excuse maker, point the finger type people. They take ownership for what they do. And so the fact that the first thing you go to is like, it was so cool to see how much they love the game. And like for everybody that's in youth hockey, and we keep shouting this from the rooftops, like our most important jobs as adults in the youth hockey environment, and even in the NHL level too. Like you said, it's what kind of environment can we create where people are falling in love with the game and continuing to stay in love with the game every day? Like that, all the like at the base brass tacks of it, like that's the most important thing. So yeah, that's really cool that you said that, man. I love that.
I mean, there's if you love what you're doing, you're gonna spend more time doing it. You're gonna be more consistent with it, and consistency wins on a long enough timeline. Consistency and intention wins. And so like, you know, Dunner's trained with me multiple years in his career, you know, over the past 5 years or whatever it's been. And that's why obviously it's not the ice, but I only train hockey players, and I try to make the sessions in the gym as fun as we can while we're putting in the work, so the guys want to come back. The more you enjoy the process, the more you're going to get the results from the process, you know. And I will say this though, too, young players listening, you cannot wait for other people to make it fun for you. I tell my junior guys this all the time who are getting healthy scratched or on the fourth line when the midgets, they were on the first line. It's up to you to find a way to make it fun every single day. Whether that's telling yourself a story, whether that's you create a competition, scoring comp in practice, which we have talked about at length on this podcast, a competition in the gym, who can sprint faster today, let's race, whatever it is. Don't wait for the coach to make it fun. You've got to make it fun, because the higher you go, the coach isn't concerned as much about that. Yes, that's a little piece of it, but he's concerned about winning. So it's up to you as the player to find a way to make your job fun every single day.
100%. Well, Dunner, you guys got to be having a lot of fun in Buffalo right now. I think you reeled off 10 straight. I think it was at one point. You just tell us a little bit about this streak and how much fun it was to be a part of it, but also just like what's going on. Like, it's so cool. Like, it's so hard to win in the NHL. It's so incredibly hard to win in the NHL, one game, let alone 10 in a row. So like what's been going on there with the Sabres, where it's like, it's got to be fun coming to the ring. Like what's just kind of the attitude around the team right now?
Yeah. Cool. You said it's hard to win. It's a tough league. Like nothing comes easy. I found the NHL, like every single thing you get, you got to earn. And I think that's what's been so good is it's been a full team buy-in to where the lineup's changed throughout it. Guys have been hurt. Guys have been sick. Everything kind of happened, and we've been on the road. And it's just like, no matter what happened, we bought into like doing what it takes to win. Like guys were doing things, guys were blocking shots, guys were taking hits to make plays, guys were making the smart decision maybe to dump a puck in at a time where maybe they could have made a play, but they decided to help the team in that regard. So I think a lot of it's just like very selfless hockey and buying into that, and then just continuing to do that over and over. And I think a big part is like that confidence, is like knowing that we were going to win, because quite a few games in this during the streak there, we were actually down a goal or two at a time, and there was never panic. It was like, hey, we can do this, and I think that was the part that stuck out was like a confidence and a buy-in that like is really special. So yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
And Buffalo, so I lived in Cornell. We were 2 hours south of Buffalo, 2.5 hours depending on where you were going. People don't understand how amazing of a sports town and a hockey town Buffalo is. Like, if you guys make when you guys make the playoffs this year, like, dude, that place is going to erupt. Like, everybody knows the Bills Mafia. Like, the Bills, they're absolutely insane when it comes to that. But like, Buffalo is such an awesome blue collar, just incredible sports town. And like, I have to imagine that they, kind of take to people like you, like the role that you play and stuff like that. They that's kind of like in the DNA of Buffalo people to begin with, right there on Lake Erie, freezing all the time, snowing all the time. What's it like, just the city of Buffalo and especially during the streak, just kind of like the reception that you're getting there?
Yeah, I think you make a good point. I think Rob Ray is one of the favorites, which Razor's a beauty. I do love Razor, but he's one of the favorites here, and it's like you said, heart and soul. And yeah, like on the streak, you could like, they love it. Like they were at the game. The place was rocking right after Christmas. Like, it's such a fun atmosphere to play. And I mean, I love that. Like, I love leaning into like the city's culture. And again, I've only been here for a little bit, but again, everybody says it where it's like, you guys get going, you guys make it. It's gonna be something. So we've started to see a glimpse of it, and it's been unbelievable. And yeah, the Bills Mafia, how much they love the Bills, how like they're just so passionate about their sports here, and they come and support. And yeah, I've loved it so far.
Very cool, very, very cool. Well, the Olympics are coming up. Is there some I don't know, you guys doing any kind of like fun things as a team? A couple guys on the team are in the Olympics. And by the way, Vex, before we get to that, this is on the Buffalo Sabres right now. Dunner is actually the fourth person on their not just roster, but their entire organization that has been on the podcast. Can you name the other three?
Tuck.
Al Tuck, that's one.
Dunner. Metza. Joe. Last name Mama.
No, I was going to help you out there. I was going to say Joe who, but
who am I missing?
Seth Apper on the coach.
Oh yeah, that's right. Gally told me he said hi before dinner too.
Oh,
damn.
And Gally, that's 5.
Oh,
Gally,
Gally.
that's 5.
That is 5.
So
wow.
5. You are number 5, Dunner. But it's a crazy year this year with the Olympics, and the schedule has been so kind of shortened and just so crazy for everybody. But a couple guys on the team that have made Olympic teams and stuff like that. How cool is it to see some of your teammates, getting that call from their GMs and saying they're in the Olympics? And has it been pretty cool to be a part of, their story when it comes to that?
Oh, it makes me excited being like, I'm playing with an Olympian. That's freaking awesome. So no, it's I'm so happy for those guys, and those guys earned it. Like, again, you talk about journeys, like to get to that level in that moment, it's like there's so much that has to happen, and you have to work so hard to get there. So it's awesome, and I'm so happy for those guys. I think it's Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen, Rasmus Dahlin, and Tage Thompson, and those guys. Like I said, those guys have earned it, and we're so excited for them as a team, because again, we see the work they put in every day, and how much those guys have earned it. So I'm really excited to kind of watch them all play, and yeah, like again, everything they've got, they've earned. So it's awesome for me. And I got some other excitement for the Olympics too. A little Joy Dunne action.
Yeah.
Heyo.
Let's go.
And yeah, so
how cool is that, man?
Wow.
Awesome.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to change topic away from.
No.
But
I mean, she is an Olympian. That was my next follow-up question. Not just the Sabres, but you got family members going.
Yeah, and hopefully Ella Shelton too. I know that they'll find out, and my girlfriend in a couple. They find out in a couple days, so fingers crossed for that one too. So But no, it's awesome. Like, again, to get to that level for anybody, even the other athletes in other sports, like it's such a cool thing, and to represent your country is, I mean, it's every kid's dream. So I'm so excited for everyone who's made it and all the different sports, and it's so much fun to watch. So I'm just gonna be like a little kid enjoying it all.
And Toph, did you see when USA women's played Canadian women's? So his girlfriend, Ella Shelton, is on Canada. His sister is on US. Like his sister, was it Joy was wearing your jersey and you were wearing like Canada and US? And everybody's wearing everybody's shirts and jerseys to the games that week. Like, man, how freaking exciting. And who are you rooting for in a game when it's your girlfriend versus your sister, bro? I'm going to put you on the spot
I know,
right now.
That's the funny thing is, like, I'm just like the mediator, like Vex can see, like, I'm very easygoing, and so I hope both teams have fun. I always say that. So,
that's a BS answer, bro.
It is
BS.
It just started happening with Jinsey and Ella, because they both played USA and Canada, so they play against each other. And so, like, they were in the last Olympics playing against each other, and it was just like, wow, that's awesome, man. Everyone's like, who are you rooting for? You're rooting for? I'm like, I am rooting for them both. I hope they both have a great tournament, and they both have a lot of fun. So, no, it's awesome for me just to see that, and again, see both their journeys, and again, and the women's side too. Like, I know it's a different game, and but I mean, every single one of those girls who's made it has earned it, and they've had to work so hard to get there, and they've had different challenges from the men's side. But it's so exciting, and yeah, I couldn't be happier for Ella and Joy, and our fingers crossed, Ella, so I should say that. But yeah, I mean, the last Olympics and Jinsey, and yeah, it's so cool. So it's awesome. It's great too. The NHL is getting the Olympics back. I think 2014 was the last one. So, right? Or 2010. What was the last one? I think
2010.
Yeah, with Crosby. I know Crosby had the golden goal, so it's the best hockey, and I think it's great for hockey too, where it just grows the game more and more. I mean, everyone saw last year the Four Nations, what it did for hockey, and kind of reached a larger audience. So I think the Olympics should do the same thing, which is great, because we love it.
Yeah, your former teammates, the Kachuk boys, freaking getting her going there.
Oh,
actually, that's a like. Did you played for Brownie? You played for probably Keith.
Yep.
At different points in your youth hockey. What was it like? Like, that was it the 98 year? I think you had 5 or 6.
Yeah, we were,
draft picks. What was it like growing up in St. Louis playing for those guys?
I was so lucky for that team. Like, you're talking about being in the right place at the right time, and giving credit where credit's due. It's like I probably wouldn't be here if it weren't for them. And like Brady played up a year with us for a couple of years, and we had Jeff Brown coach our team, and then Keith helped out a lot as well. And just the knowledge they were able to give us from a young age, and just like the practices, like we were just like skating so much and playing so hard in practice, like competing so hard. Like, I think that kind of work ethic, like obviously my parents helped, and like they helped as well, kind of instill that, like kind of showing us what it takes a little bit from a young age. And so we were able to learn so much from them, and I had a great team growing up, and like it was awesome. Like, again, that's where I kind of learned to see from players like Keller and Brown and Frederick and Martin. I can go on and on. Like, we just had so many good players that like I was able to see from a young age, like what made them successful, how I can learn from them, how hard they worked, how much they loved it. And I was so fortunate to be on a team like that.
So cool.
Yeah. What were practices like? Like, for all the youth because we had a lot of youth coaches that listen, what was it? You said it was competitive, but a lot of small games, skill, like what were practices like?
It was a lot of like skating with the drills. So it'd be like a wakey kind of thing, or like it wasn't, I don't know how to describe it. It was like, it's been a while, but it was like 2-on-1 full ice, come back, grab another guy, like a lot of things like that, where it was like a lot of flow and like a lot of movement around the ice. So like it really worked on our skating. And then there's a lot of like competitive stuff, but like Brownie had a high standard for us, even at a young age. Like, we're 11, 10, 12 years old. And like, he's hard on us with the standard of things, and the making of plays, and understanding like, hey, this is what you can do, this is what you can't do, and this is inexcusable. And so like we knew from a really young age, like they instilled those things in us to where we kept on getting better and better, because like you can't just turn over, not back check and just get off the ice. Like, that's not, you can't do that, you know what I mean? It's not acceptable. Or like, And so things like that where we were able to kind of learn. Like my actually a good example, my dad. My dad always laughs at this, but I remember one time I was playing with my one of my teammates, Tyler Watson, was my line mate. And we like made a drop pass to the blue line. It was horrible, terrible turnover. It happens, and like he's like, hey, kind of like don't do it again, kind of thing. And then we did it again, the same thing, horrible turnover, and like he ripped us, but it was a great point because it's like we deserve to, because he kind of gave us that leash. We didn't take advantage of it, and we did the same thing again. It's like you kind of have to learn from those things, and I think he did a great job with that, where we were able to learn and grow, and he pushed us really hard to like want us to be good. So I think that's like that was great from a young age.
Love that. It's like it's funny. I talked to some coaches that are coaching at the youth level, and even some at the older ages too, and they're like, kids don't want to be pushed. You can't be hard on them, and that couldn't be further from the truth. Like they 100% want to be pushed. They 100% want to be challenged. Jay Guerrero, so he works at USA Hockey. We've had him on the podcast, and I can't remember if it was a conversation on the podcast or not, but they asked like a bunch of young kids, and I don't remember the age, but it was younger. They were like, what makes hockey fun? Like, what do you, and you know what the biggest answer was? It's because it's challenging. Mm-hmm. Like that was young kids, and what they were like, they want to be pushed. They want to be challenged. They want to have these high standards and be held accountable to it. You just got to do it in the right way. You have to have a relationship with them, and you gotta, be true to your word and all the other things that we talk about with coaching. But that's really cool that you say that, because like kids want that, man. I'm so sick of people saying that kids are soft nowadays. Like they're not. They want to be challenged and they want to be held accountable. You just got to do it in the right way.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, I agree.
Well, Dunner, last thing I have for you, and I wanted to get to this because you've said one word on this podcast for the past 40, 50 minutes, whatever it's been, that I've really like. It's a word that I absolutely love, and it's the word earn. It's the word earn. You got to earn it. You've said it. It's probably the word choice that you've had the most in what we've been doing. And I want to just point that out, because to get to the levels that you're at and where Vex and I have been, whatever your ceiling is in with your talent level, like the higher the level that you go, the more it has to be earned. Like you can't just get by on talent. You can't just get by on political BS. Like you have to put in the work, and you have to be consistent. You have to be a good teammate to be able to earn getting to the next level. And so I wanted to point that out, because as you were saying it, like throughout the podcast, it's like, man, like what a good message for all the young kids out there, and what a good message for all their support when it comes to coaches and parents too. Like, so when you think about where you're at in your career, and I know it's certainly not even close to being done, and you got a lot that you want to accomplish, but sitting here now and you've realized the dream of playing in the NHL that you've had since you were a kid. And I know of your career, having seen you play when you were playing youth hockey and through junior, and Vex works with you in the gym. Like you truly have earned it. Like this was not something that was given to you. It's something that you've earned based on the person that you are, based on the work that you put into it, the love and the passion that you have for the game. So sitting there, in your spot in Buffalo, at your place, just reflecting back, like how important is it that you had just this earn it mentality, and that is a word that is that important to you?
Yeah, I'm very thankful for it. And I think the part that was really helpful, we talked about kind of adversity, was the different times I had to go through it. And just kind of fortunate for those. I know it's kind of almost like weird to say, where it's like, maybe I went to juniors a year too early. Maybe I should have signed at a different time. Things like that, where I can always go back. But it's like, I'm happy it happened the way it did, because I wouldn't able to grow if it weren't for those situations, And so I was really thankful for my support group, which again, it's so fortunate having the parents support me the way they did, and 5 siblings that kind of all understand what I'm going through it, and that work, and they get me. And so they were always there for me. And I think that was a big part of my journey when those things did happen. Like you mentioned, like it's good to have people there that can kind of help you when you need a hand up. And it's definitely happened time and time again in my career, and it'll happen again at some day. It happens to everybody. So it's good to have. I'm fortunate to have that support group. And I think that's the thing that I've had to learn, where it's like, at some point, like you're right, like you can get by political, you can get by talent, you can get by a lot of things for a long time, but at some time you have to like You have to, and like you said, like earn it and find a way to make it. And I think for me, I had that kind of from a younger age. I learned it from a younger age, and then I realized like that's kind of where it is. Each level you go up, it gets harder and harder. But like I learned that that's what it takes, and so each level you go, that's what you kind of have to do.
Awesome.
Love it, man. Well, appreciate your time here today. If you have a couple more minutes, we got a rapid fire 10 questions that we have for you. That'll be housed in the Hockey Think Tank U community. If you're not a part of Hockey Think Tank UNet, go to httU.thehockeythinktank.com. And we always have these with our guests. They're always a lot of fun. Some good questions, some absolutely ridiculous questions. Those are usually Vex's ones. But Dunner, thank you so much for your time. I think there's going to be a lot of young kids that listen to this. They're going to get a ton out of it that can help them to be better as they're going through their journey. So appreciate it, man.
And thank you guys. I love what you guys are doing, and your guys' messaging is right on. So I'm happy to be a part of it. And yeah, you guys are helping so much right now. So I think I would have been very lucky to have something like this growing up. And yeah, I hope people are listening because this is awesome.
Thanks,
Rewind
man.
that last 10 seconds and play that for everybody you know.
No,
listeners.
I'm serious. I mean it. Yeah. So keep doing the good work, guys, and it's amazing. So I think it's just so valuable, and it's amazing. So thank you, guys.
Appreciate that. The jaw-dropping moments that make hockey hockey. Experience them all with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL. Missouri listeners, listen up. DraftKings Sportsbook is now live in the Show Me State. New customers, this one's for you. Bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code THPN. That's code THPN to turn $5 into $200 in bonus bets if your bet wins. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, pass-through of per wager tax may apply in Illinois. 21 plus age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Restrictions apply. Bet must win to receive bonus bets which expire in 7 days. Minimum odds required. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio. Limited time offer. Copyright NHL 2025. All rights reserved.
If you like the show, please take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe. It really does help the show to grow. Thank you for listening.